All right, you guys. So we are live. We are live. We're getting better at this. We're getting better at this. Anyway, listen, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I feel very stopped up. So we have Vicks Vapor Rub. They're not medicated chest rub. Listen, we just got to hear just to, I don't know. I just started sneezing. You know what it was? I think I had some popcorn and yeah. I did have some chicken nuggets today as well. So I don't know. Today we are going to get into what we can learn from the show Succession. Now I have a confession to make. I've never seen this show. And I think I said I was going to watch it. But you know what? When I pulled it up, they had the entire seasons in 20 minutes. I watched that instead. Okay, I watched that instead. And I got chat to help me. You know what I mean? I kind of treated it like an assignment. But after watching a couple of those videos, I think I got something. Because I ain't gonna lie, this weekend, my hair came in. Yesterday. Okay, they said that they delivered it yesterday. I got it this morning out the little locker. So you already know I'm going to be doing hair this weekend. Okay, period. We're going to be fly. And we're going to be working out as well. I'm going to do insanity. And I got some other stuff that I'm going to do. But anyway, so we've been talking about what does it take to be number one? Okay. What does it take to be number one? I feel like in that video, I was trying to gloss over it. Okay. But today we getting into it. I have notes. They're all, last time my notes were green, now they're purple. Anyway, and I got some note cards because I was doing this while I was at work too. But anyway, all right. First of all, okay, just keeping it real, why would an African-American woman want to watch a show like this? I'm thinking of people like my mom or my grandmother and things of that nature. Why would you care? Okay, because the most people that I know, that's not something that they would want to watch. All right, they don't really care like that for real. Like what is this? I don't see anybody on the show that looks like me. But that's the problem right there, because you can learn from anybody. You watch people, you see the different dynamics and things of that nature. And you can apply it to yourself. Just because the people don't look like you don't mean that you can't learn something from that. But I will say that we as African Americans, we always feel like we can see ourselves in other people. However, other people can never see themselves in us. Oh, that's a word. That's a word right there. They don't watch our shows. They don't identify with our shows, but we're always having to go into their media channels and find ourselves within them. And then even when we have our own thing, they just have to have, everybody got to have representation in our things. But here we are, watching their thing. Anyway, let's move on. It's important to watch this because it really is a us versus them. You can go into their psychology and really get in the meat and the potatoes and really see what's going on in their psyche. Okay? And it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good in there. I'm going to be honest. These people, they don't express their feelings. They believe that love's feelings are weaknesses and liabilities. Okay, keep that in your mind. Keep that, okay? The other thing is they believe that everyday people are non-persons included, or a non-person individual or something like that. Okay? And so what that means is it's kind of like if something happened in the news or whatever, or someone is, excuse the noise, if somebody is identified, if they belong to a different class, all right, say like a night walker or something like that, then there are no person involved. Like that's how they're coded in the system or whatever. Like they're a person without having a name, or they don't matter. I don't want to say giving very much, what's that lady that used to be on Basketball Wives? Non-factor. That's basically, what they saying or whatever. You a non-factor. You a non-blankety, like that's what they're saying. That's the legal term that they use. They don't use like this person is cause you're not paying taxes. You know what I'm saying? Technically, you're not voting. So you don't mean nothing to them. Anyway, let's move on. But that's how they see you. That's how they see everybody. And so much so that you're not a person with your own thoughts and opinions, your own autonomy. You kind of do whatever they tell you to do. And that's reflected in what they did with the media. Okay, sounds very familiar. They can change the public perception, which influences how we vote. And if that influences how we vote and how we make choices and decisions, then that means they get to choose who's going to be our leaders. So they telling us who we supposed to be picking, but buy on whatever they put on the news. That's what they saying. All right. Now, why is this what they listen? They always telling us stuff. They always clocking their own tea, telling us what they're doing. Right. And we letting it happen too. We letting it happen, honey, because that's what they're doing. Art always gonna imitate the light, but that's none of my business. Okay. Other thing is, they thrive off of a power imbalance. And we see that illustrated in the interactions and relationships with the father, right, who's playing carrot stick with his kids. Because who gonna take over after he leaves? In fact, I think he be playing tricks on them kids like that for real. Like, I don't feel good. I'm going, go to the hospital and all this other stuff. Maybe he's not, but like for real, like, he is getting a rise out of that. All of them are narcissistic. All of them have some type of personality disorder. They all crazy. Okay. I don't think they're taking, a prescription, but I know they have extracurricular activity going on. All right. Yeah. I saw that. Okay. So why does all of this matter? Okay, all of this is going to matter because we as the general population, especially over here on Soul Town, we believe in being good people. Okay, we believe in being good people. We believe in being good stewards. We believe in doing the right thing. And the issue is they are only interested in doing the right thing when it suits them. They only align with things that matter unless it has to align with their agenda, whatever their agenda is, whatever they're trying to get. Okay. And that matters because we're trying to get rights. We're trying to get promotions. We're trying to reach our goals and ambitions. Right. And so what does it look like when you're trying to reach your goals and find fulfillment, your aspirations, and they're just carrot sticking it along, saying, oh, we're going to give you this if you do this, this, and this. And then you have that illusion of choice. They were never going to do anything that they said they were going to do for you. They just want to get their needs met. And I feel like the true power is not having to ask. The true power is never having to ask. The true power is never, choosing, just doing. You're not going to ask for permission to do the things because they're not going to ask you for permission. They're not looking for your validation. They don't need it. They don't even have to give you nothing. They don't have to do nothing. Either you going to take it or you just not going to have it. And that's what it is that we see here. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Now we're going to talk mainly about Shiv because she is a woman. All right. We're going to talk about her, but we'll talk about the brothers as well. But we're going to talk about her because the issue that I'm having with her, she's girl boss and she's weaponizing her feminism. Okay. She's weaponizing her feminism. She's all about girls sticking together. But when it comes down to it, okay, when it comes down to it, she doesn't do what she says she's going to do for the other person. Okay. When it's you and them, oh, I'm for you, girl. I'm all here, sister, girl, all of that. Right. But when it comes down to it, they will uphold the same systems that they are saying, as long as they're getting what they want out of it and they maintain their position, they don't care about dismantling any type of system. They, benefit from keeping the system the way it is. It's working just fine for them. So what incentive do they have to make it to where everybody can have what they need? For what? For what? What incentive do they have to really be a feminist? To really look out for you like that for real? Okay? No, they benefit from, your disenfranchisement. Okay. Disenfranchisement. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway. Okay. And this is evident in, Shiv. And why is her name there anyway? Okay. Isn't that cultural appropriation? Why is this lady named Shiv? What is that? She's not from around Middle Eastern. Why is her name? I was very confused with that. I was very confused. Okay, I don't even know what to call her. I'm gonna just be honest. But anyway, it's evident in her coming up with a ploy to work with her brothers to, take over the company. But at the end, she decided to not go over it because they were gonna cut her out. And that's the other thing. They're all fighting each other. And in the end, none of them win. Okay? We're gonna talk about who win. But okay, boom. Let's keep talking about shiv, or whatever. Because that's her name. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it. Okay, anyway. Now, there was a comment that made that she is not as smart as she thinks she is. Okay? But she be doing all that talking. First one with their hand up, talking about, hey, I think da-da-da-da-da. Just really performing the confidence. Just very much performative, okay? And she is copying off of the male. So she want to be a part of the big boys club, but she very much is not invited. Excuse the noise. She's not invited to the party, but she want to be in a party, and she act like she in a party, okay? She acts like a man. She's very male-centered, right? Thing is, they never include her. They're consistently they only pull her up and be like, oh, we have a female leadership involved or whatever when it benefits the company, right? So is she not a DEI hire? Okay. All right. But as soon as that go, they put her back in the closet over there. Okay. Back over there. Go get back in the corner. Okay. Until we need you again. Okay. And she willingly does that over and over and over again. Why does that matter to Black women? We are humble. Okay. It's very much yes, ma'am, no, sir. Okay. And I don't like that because I feel like we should speak up more instead of asking people for permission. Instead of doing all these things, we should spearhead our own things. It's not about asking for permission. And I'm going to keep saying that over and over again because here, all of the kids are fighting so that they can win their father's approval. Because it don't matter whether they inherit the company or not. They're going to be rich regardless. So what exactly are we talking about? If I didn't have to work another day in my life, do you think I really care about fighting people? I don't care. Okay? They get some type of fulfillment out of the fight. Okay? They get a fulfillment out of the fight. They get a fulfillment out of the emotional vibe. This is the only type of interaction that they have with their dad. Their dad views all of them as a liability because they all have they're looking like they need love, and he's not going to give them no love. So they're using the fight as the love. Okay. That's what they're doing. But it don't matter, whether he sell the company, give it to it don't matter. It don't matter because they're already rich. So what are we talking about? What are we doing? I'm not understanding. I'm not getting it. Maybe you can explain it to me, but it just kind of seemed like in place of the love and relationships, all they have is money and all they have is their ambition. And so they will do whatever it takes to win because that is what their dad has prioritized over family and everything like that. He is always going to prioritize getting the bag. And if it ain't got nothing to do with the bag, it ain't got nothing to do with him. Okay. In fact, so they feel like the bag is the only way to get to their dad, but they're not trying to get the inheritance. They're not trying to get the company because they really want the company. They just want validation from their dad. And he's telling them, y'all are soft. Okay. Let me move on real quick. Okay. None of the kids are self-starters. It leads me right into I'm going right in order. I felt this one. I really did. Listen, none of the characters are self-starters. They're all waiting for permission for somebody else to tell them what to do. They don't know what to do. They listen to outside parties and doing everything like that. The dad is fighting them. Okay. He is straight up offense. And they can't even pay attention. They playing defense and they never ahead. Okay. The dad is always 10 to 15. They do exactly the way their dad have it set up for them to do. They don't come up with their own ideas. They don't ever think outside of the box. They fall right into the plan because they dad know them so well. So what do we need to do? We need to know our oppressor. We need to know who we playing and what game we playing on. We need to know. You need to understand that it's all a game. The dad say in every episode, this is a game. This is a game. All of this is a game. Okay. This is a fight. This is a fight. He got to get him a tutorial. Every time he talks to them, he got to get him, his kids, a tutorial and tell them, I'm fighting you. I don't love you like that for real. And they really like can't, it's not digesting. It's not clicking. It's not clicking. It's not clicking. And I feel like whatever happened to them, they deserve it. Okay? Because it's not like they dad and tell them like this is what it is. And I feel like we as African Americans, if we watching this on the show, if this how they feel about their kids, how you think they feel about you? How you think they feel about you? For real. If they think they kids ain't worth a blankety blank blank, then what you mean? What does that mean for us? What they talking about for us? Like what they got on the schedule for us? Period. So that means we have to be 5 to 10 steps ahead. We got to play ball, okay? Or we need to figure out another game to play, because that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Hold on. Let me see. Because I really was concerned with the fact that the kids are in what I call, or what people say, gilded handcuffs. Okay? Gilded handcuffs. A lot of people have that with their salary jobs and things of that nature. You make just enough money for you to have a good, comfortable life. Now, comfort is going to be different for everybody. Okay? Everybody, it depends on what you call comfort. Okay? But you make just enough for you to be complacent. Like, do I need to look for another job? Things look pretty good, pretty stable for me. I don't have to go. I don't have to venture out. I don't need to start my own thing. Starting my own thing means uncertainty. I don't know exactly what that is going to look like for me. So maybe I don't need to, start my own business or whatever. Health insurance is high. We got kids, we got all these different responsibilities. We got car note. We got to make sure that these things, it's too speculative. It's too risky for me to be out here starting my own thing. But this gilded handcuff is good enough. I think we can do that. They pay you just enough. They pay you just enough. All right. It's just enough work for you to feel comfortable. Like you don't feel like you need to expand your mind or learn new skills or do anything extra, but it's just enough. You're not too tired, okay? But you're not, feeling you're not feeling excited or active enough to do something else, or just you don't have an incentive. Like yesterday, we talked about not being hungry enough, not having that hunger, because we already have, like, we know where our rent is coming from. We already know how rent getting paid. We know that the utilities that check is going to clear. We know that these things are going to happen. So we don't have to work as hard. It's very complacent energy. In the show, they are good. They have their basic needs met. They are all emotionally driven. With it, the dad keeps telling them that, being emotional is a liability. Love, morals, the good and bad dichotomy, all of that is a liability. And they keep falling for it. Let's talk about Kendall. Kendall was the main contender. He was the main contender, and his dad was telling him he was too emotionally involved, right? I noticed that his morals were keeping him from winning. He needed to demoralize, right, his dad to justify his actions toward his dad, because he wanted to be a good son. Okay. He wanted to do the right thing, despite the fact that his dad is really using him. He's self-sabotaging because his dad is manipulating him. His dad is depending on him to be a good person. And because he always want to be a good person, right, his dad is going to use his moral and good character against him. Listen, what does that have to do with us? I'm always ask that question. What does that have to do with me? As an African American. Okay. And as a woman, what does that have to do with me? They are always telling us to be a good person. And it's getting to the point where it's always been to the point where we are policing ourselves. We want to be a good person. It's like respectability politics, right? We don't want to be seen as another one of them. That's why people care so much about the bonnet, because it's not just, we don't want that one decision from this group of people to typecast all of us in one thing. So when they interact with us, then they're all going to treat us one thing, because in their eyes, we all look the same, we act the same. But what I'm saying is they going to treat you like that regardless, okay? Because they in the 50s and the 60s, they were wearing suits, okay? They were suited and booted, okay? Then we go to, Black Panthers, okay, right on. And then we go, like, it doesn't matter. They was going to treat you the way because that's how they view you. It don't matter what you have on. It don't matter how you suited and booted. They going to treat you the way, because that's just who and what they believe. Okay, so it don't really matter. It don't really matter. They probably think we all act the same way. They think we look. Listen, today I had to go take my lunch at the hair store. Yeah, I was at the hair store. Do I look like I work at the hair store? Somebody asked me, do you work here? That's why I don't like going nowhere on my lunch break like that, for real. Because that could have turned into something right there. And it wasn't nobody that looked like me. Okay? You in here looking for the same thing I'm looking for. What you talking about? Do I have, but they think that though. They think that. Okay? I'm in business casual. Do I look like I work there? Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is, we try to escape so much. Like, we try to separate ourselves from lower class or lower class behaviors. We change our hair. We change our nails. We change the way that we are presenting ourselves or the way we talk to each other or to other people. And we change our names. We do all of these different things so that we can identify with a different class. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what you do. At the end of the day, they're going to treat you the same way. Look at how they treat Obama. Look at what they said about Michelle Obama. Okay? And that's cream of the crop. Ivy Leagues. Okay? So it's like, it doesn't matter what you look like. It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter how you present yourself. They're going to always feel this way about you. So my question is, what do we do about that? Okay? Because the respectability thing does not matter. Okay, you could talk like you have some sense or don't. They gonna treat you however they feel like treating you that day. And so if you justify your validation, your sense of self-worth from what they think, what are you living for? Okay, so you can be not another one of them. It don't matter. That's what I'm saying. So that means we have been basing our level of success on the wrong rubric. Anyway, that's none of my business though. You know what I mean? That's none of my business. That's none of my business. The other thing is, when we talk about being immoral and all the other stuff, they use that against us as well. They use that because things happen to us. Things happen to us. Real things be happening on the news and stuff. Okay, boom, it happened. The natural response would be anger. Somebody step on your shoes after you told them not to step on your shoes. We got to take it as disrespect. We got to, because why are you stepping on my shoes? I feel like the first time you did it, you was a little, you didn't know. Maybe it was crowded or something like that. You do it again. I got to look. We got to look around, look at the context to the situation, everything like that. You do it again. We gotta swing. We got to, because we already had a conversation with you. We looked at the context in which this situation happened. Why we're the only people on this earth right here, where people expect us to react to things with love, kindness, and respect. Why do I have to be respectful to someone that was disrespectful to me? Why do I have to show you love, kindness, and turn the other cheek when you are consistently, okay, tap dancing on my nerves like that, for real? Okay, can't breathe, but you want me to give you a hug. That does not work for me. That does not work for me. And so trying to be seen as good people, trying to do the right thing, right? In a unjust world. I don't know. I'm not trying to get too political. I don't want to get too political because that's not my business. That's not my business entirely. But what I'm saying is you can learn all of that because these are tactics that they're using against the general public. Okay? And I didn't even watch the show. I watched the thing and I'm like, well, what does this have to do with us? Because we're always trying to be the good people. I feel like we the only ones trying to make it to heaven. We the only ones trying to get in there. Okay? We trying to see Jesus. Okay? And that's the problem. They have convinced us that our heaven and our riches are upstairs. Meanwhile, they robbing us blind. Now that's what they said in the class. Okay? I didn't miss not one class. I was in all them classes. Okay? I might not have did well in chemistry. I wasn't even supposed to be taking chemistry. But for my African American studies and all of those sociology, like all of those classes, I was in there. I was in them classes. I wasn't in them. I can't do algebra. I can't do the algebra. I told the algebra teacher I couldn't come because it was Yom Kippur. He said, you're not Jewish. I'm like, how would you know? Like, I could be if I wanted to. It's a holiday. It was actually like my birthday or whatever. So, but anyway, it was a good excuse. It was a really good excuse. But it's just kind of like, y'all, they use this stuff against us every day. And it's like we're fighting each other, trying to be who's the better African American. Does it matter whether we go to school, get a good education? We shouldn't be wearing certain things around, and I'm not going to say, I feel like the things that we wear have more to do with our own self-respect, but we can't base our self-respect off of what other people do or off of how other people see us. It's like, since we have been emancipated, we've always had this consistent desire and an obsession with making sure that we were seen as human. But if I see somebody walking around talking and they're human, I don't believe that that's something that we have to argue or we have to prove. We don't have to prove our humanity, right? To be treated as people, we don't have to argue that, okay? Some people wear bonnets, some people don't. Some people like to sag, some people don't, okay? All right? Just because we have the same skin tone and everything, we don't like the same things. We don't have the same favorite colors, now do we? We don't, okay? But just because you have a different favorite color than I do, you don't have to argue your humanity. And I know I'm explaining it to you and you understand it. The fact that they don't understand it to me means might not be up here. Okay? They're not up there with it. They're just not smart. Now, if someone else is not smart and you are, does that reflect badly on you? If they don't know that 1 + 1 is 2 and you do, doesn't it just communicate a little bit more that they're stupid and you're not? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We don't have to communicate our humanity. We don't have to perform humanity or do what, because when you start performing, it's like, under whose standards are you performing? Who sets the tone and the standard of what is human? What is respectable? What is a good person? When you live in a society where your personhood has been systematically demonized, then it don't matter what you do. It don't matter how you dress. It don't matter what you look like, because you can't get rid of your blackity black skin. But that's none of my business. That's none of my business. I wasn't trying to get too political, but it's just kind of like, that's what I learned from the show. Okay? That's what I learned. So it's just kind of like, it don't matter what you do. Another thing that I found very intriguing here, the person that won was least suspecting. He was least suspecting. This was Shiva's husband. Shiva, I don't want to say Shiva because that is a Indian deity. That's why I'm kind of irritated that's her name. But the lady's husband, right? He and their cousin or something like that, some off script people or whatever, they are the people that win the company. The underdogs, the people that you don't pay attention to. See, what I'm getting from this situation is we spend so much time fighting and playing defense. We're not playing offense, right? And so the people that you're not worried about end up taking over. I'll give you an instance here, example. They're so, committed and worried about us, in London. Okay. I believe that is one of the most expensive cities in the world. And, there are a lot of Middle Eastern doctors and things of that nature that have bought up the property there. Okay. In a lot of major cities and things of that nature, which is hilarious to me. Because even in our country, you spend so much time to disenfranchise Black people and making sure that we don't have nothing, right? That's it. Got to make sure that we don't have nothing, right? But these other people, they don't hit that Caucasian box, but they are that's because you don't want us at your schools like that, and that's cool. We don't want to be there, okay, period. But they the ones trying to get in there, so you really mad. It's not us, it's them. That's not that, but that don't have nothing to do with us though. You worried about us, you playing defense on us, you playing defense with us, but you have different people that you really should be looking at while you worried about me. In this show, all the siblings fighting each other. They fighting each other and they fighting their dad. Whole time, the business, the family corporation go to this other dude. He was playing offense. He was playing all of them because how you married to this man and he take your stuff from you like that for real. Okay, you married him. The dad said you married beneath you because you're afraid of betrayal. Tell me why the dad is clocking everybody's tea and he ain't about worth nothing. That's what the dad said. You chose this man that's less than you because you don't want to be hurt. Whole time he plotting on your downfall. Like he didn't say that, but that's what I got from it. The dad didn't say that. Okay. And he did kind of, meet the maker, but so the least suspecting, he's not the richest person. Okay. This lady was not a good wife to him. She cheated on him repeatedly. She repeatedly told him that she didn't love him. And she was asking for an open marriage. But then she got pregnant. But but you know what? She was worried about her brother. She should have been figuring out what was going on at home. Okay. And you create enemies because like if she would have kept her husband close to her, whether she loved him or not, she probably, they could have tag teamed together. You see what I'm saying? Especially if it was a big boys club. Get your husband on the line and make him run the plays. But instead, you got caught up in the crossfire and now you just married to him. And so now your whole dynamic is going to shift from where you were the one wearing the pants in the family. He's wearing the pants in the family now. Okay. And that's going to be very interesting to see. Look, I didn't watch this, y'all, because it was 3 seasons and I'm not going to watch no 3 seasons in no weekend. That's unrealistic expectation on my part. Listen, let me see what else. Okay, I didn't want to get too political, but it is very important because as an African American, because I know some people be trying to, I watched Kev on stage and somebody told him to keep the politics out of his stuff. And I feel like being Black, we can't afford to not know something about politics, especially when we live in a system, in a society where it matters. You can't be under a rock like that. And I don't even watch the news. But I know what's going on somewhere. Okay, period. You gotta know. Listen, I asked ChatGPT to help me out too, to tell me what are some things that Black people can learn from this show. Okay. All right. Number 1, Chat said power is taken seriously. Feelings are not. Just because you feel something, I feel like we get angry when things happen to us, as we should. As we should. And I also feel like when we get angry, I don't feel like it's nobody's job to tell us how to be angry. Okay? Nobody's job to tell us how to be angry. But we need to use our emotions constructively. Okay? Constructively. I really do enjoy the people over there in Asia, because when they feel some type of way about something, you never know. You would never know. And it might be an entire dynasty. Okay. It might be a whole 100 years before they get their lick back. But oh my, they're going to get their lick back. That's why they need to leave them people alone over there. Because if you ain't really about it, then you need to just stay at home. Okay? If you scared, go to church. That's what they said over there in them other countries. That's why I'm like, hey, y'all, we not with them. We didn't do none of that. We still trying to figure out what's going on. He not even, are you, like, that's not us. That's not us. That's not us. Listen. Okay. The other thing is we need to stop explaining why we want things. Trying to explain why we deserve, like feeling like you have to be deserving of something. These people in this show don't deserve nothing. They don't. Okay. I'm actually glad that none of them won, because they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. But you know what? They don't believe that they have to deserve it. They don't believe that they have to be good people like that for real. It's like a joke to them. Oh, I'm a good person. They don't really mean it like that for real. They don't really care about other people and what other people got going on. Other people's humanity. They call them non-person individual. What is a non-person individual? Because to be an individual, wouldn't you need to be a person? What exactly does that mean? They use all these different words that don't mean, like just putting words together just for fun. That's their favorite hobby, y'all. That's their favorite hobby. Okay. The other thing, proximity to power beats talent alone. Okay. Proximity to power beats talent alone. Okay. Just because you're close to people that have the power, that's better than just being talented. Because if you don't have anyone to co-sign it, you don't have anyone to look over it, you're just a talented person. A lot of people that are talented have teams behind them. Okay, they have teams behind them. They have people pushing them. They have people that care about, or they don't even care. They just feel like whatever it is going to be marketable. It could be sold, So you need a team. I'm trying to see what chat is saying. Chat GPT, of course. Detached from being liked. We talked about that yesterday and the day before that. Information is currency. Look, they be blackmailing each other. Always keep your receipts when you're working. Okay, have your receipts. You never know when those receipts come in handy. They are very opportunistic when it comes to information, And so it's almost like you're not communicating with the person to learn things. You're communicating with the person to get an angle. I'm going to talk about that in my communication video. But yeah, loyalty is conditional. Okay? We are loyal because we love each other and we really believe that we can all win. But they are loyal as long as it works out for them. They're always thinking about their own ends. They're always thinking about what is in it for them. Now, I'm not saying that you should take all these traits. Okay? Because listen, these people are not going to heaven. Okay? They're not. And I'm a person, I don't believe that you have to be a bad person to be successful. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you have to take, that's why I was a little worried about this video, because I was like, I don't believe that you have to be a bad person. You have to lie. You can't be emotionally vulnerable. All of these different things, like, that doesn't make you a winner. That doesn't, because at the end of the day, they can't enjoy their success because, again, how did you get it? And that's why they have so much pain and anguish that they're dealing with on the inside, because they can't even enjoy the fruits of their labor. They have all this money, but what can you do with it? Because look at how you got it. Look at what you had to become, or look at who you are. Like, you're empty, right? So, but what I'm saying is, in order to play a game, you have to know who you're playing against. And if that is how they are working, then you shouldn't feel no type of way for trying to be successful. You shouldn't feel no type of way for demanding your success or demanding your rights or whatever, because you're not asking anymore, because they're not going to ask you. And if you try to take up some slack for them, if you try to, show them a little mercy, they wouldn't show you and extend you the same mercy. So why would you do that for them? In fact, they're going to use that against you every single time. They're going to play on your emotion because they believe that emotion is a weakness. So if they believe that emotion is a weakness, then you cannot show them any emotion because they're going to try to play you every single time. Okay? So it's not about taking on the attributes that they have. It's about, this is how they're playing. Okay? This is like you're playing Uno. Okay? How are we playing? What exactly are we doing? Are we going to stack? Okay? We're doing numbers. What are we doing? And some people don't even know what stacks is. Are you doing your colors? And it don't matter what color it is. You can put the number down. Are you doing all colors? Like, are you counting 1, 2, 3, 4? Do it matter how many cards you can put down? Can you put multiple draw 2s, multiple draw 4s? Can you do a reverse and a skip? Like, that's stacks. Okay? That's all of that right there. And you have to figure out who your opponent is and what they believe and what they're doing so that you can win. At the end of the day, we're playing a game. They believe it's a game and they get a rise out of the interaction. The back and forth, it gives them something. In school, as an educator, they tell us don't go back and forth with the kids because it creates a power imbalance and they need an audience and they're all, trying to get this energy. So yeah, that's what chat is saying. Okay. They're saying reputation is a tool, not your identity. Okay. Decide what you want to be known for. Curate your public narrative intentionally. Okay. And let some parts of you remain private. I talked about celebrities. They're always letting everybody know what's going on. That's something that we have with the new celebrities. Okay. We don't know anything. There's no mystery. Okay. Ambition is not a moral failure. Okay? You should not feel ashamed. This is what they're saying. We should not feel ashamed for wanting wealth, authority, autonomy, and visibility. Okay? And I feel like those things are neutral. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with your authority. Okay? You can use your authority, your visibility, your whatever to empower other people. Okay? And to dismantle those systems. You will not be popular with the system, okay, if you're working within the system, if you're trying to dismantle it. Sometimes that validation is going to come on the back end, making a way out of, no way, that's going to be on the back end. You might not see yourself get the prize. You might see someone else coming after you get the prize, and you have to be okay with that. In that show, none of them wanted to see the other person succeed more than themselves. None of them were willing to just be like, hey, you do it. Or I think they were all competing with each other and talking about how they were the best one. And they could never okay, well, I'm not a good person in this, but you're a good person in that. I think that you should do it. Because I would have been like, okay, who does the board members like the most? The board likes you. Okay, you're a good communicator. You're a good thing. You can easily lead from the back. You don't have to be the front person. You don't have to be the spokesperson. You can lead from the shadow. You ain't got it. And that's what we learned as well. They are leading from the shadow because visibility creates a vulnerability because now people see you. They got your face. Okay. If no face, no case. You see what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, you don't always have to lead. You don't always have to be in everybody's video. You don't have to always be at the forefront to say that you're being successful or you have the authority. So it's like, which one do you want? Do you want the fame or do you want the money? Because they're not mutually exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Woo. Yes, y'all. The last thing it said power protects itself. So build your own. Okay. In this video, I told y'all that none of them were willing to create their own thing. They were all willing participants trying to play the game of carrot stick. Okay, dangling something over. Oh, if I do this, I can get it. Oh, if I do this, I do this. If I do this, I can get it. No, he was never going to give them anything. And they played themselves. Do not play yourself. Look in your life and think about, where am I following this imaginary carrot? I'm trying to get this little thing that they keep dangling. What's dangling? They trying to get you to sign up for it and everything like that. Figure out a way to create your own thing. If I don't want to play Uno no more, we're playing spades. I don't want to play this no more, I'm playing something else. I'm doing something else. I'm redirecting my energy to something else, something constructive, something that, I'm not saying being a control freak, but something that I own. Because as long as you're playing somebody else's game, you're playing by their rules and what they have going on. And it feels like you're always playing defense. We need to be playing offense. Okay? I think that's it. Yeah. I think, chat had a lot of things, but I had already said it. And it's like 45 minutes. Somebody in the chat said, am I still a librarian? Yes, but I'm not doing librarian videos. Okay? Yeah. So, anyway, I will see you in the next video. Tomorrow's Friday. And my computer's about to die. I forgot to charge it. So I will see you in the next video. We're doing lives Monday through Friday. I'm going through the comments to see what else y'all wanted me to do. But I hope you like this video about succession. Okay? Anyway,